We finally end our mini winless streak by beating Sheffield United. To be honest, I would have been pleased with a 3-0 against a team like Sheffield United, but I think Armando Broja, one of the misses of the season. Listen, I'm expecting that miss. He's been injured for so long. He's nowhere near close to playing his peak football, getting the odd minute here and there. But to everyone who's so adamant that Broja is levels over Jackson, stop lying to yourself. You couldn't really explain or describe what in particular Broja does better than Jackson. And there's no point giving this kid unnecessary pressure so he can then be left out for the Wolves to attack him when he makes mistakes like this. It's bound to happen. They're two young guys that need game time to improve and find themselves. So doing up who's better than the other is just not conducive to anything right now. Now, should we be expecting to get 3 points against the team that's ranked bottom of the table with minus 30 in goal difference? I think yes. Was it the most inspiring performance? Absolutely not. But should we be grateful for 3 points? I think yes, we have to. We have to take the points how they come right now because we have a pretty important game coming up against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, and it seems like our hopes this season are going to be placed on how far we go in knockout round games, how far we progress in our pursuits for silverware. I think right now maybe you could argue this team is more equipped for knockout game football cup runs compared to mounting anything substantial or consistent in the Premier League so far. And listen, after that first half, you can see exactly why. I think this was definitely a game of two halves. The first half, my God, the frustration I saw, the lack of penetration or threat. I think our expected goals was 0.1. Sheffield United beat us. They had 0.12. It was a game of nothing in the final third. It was a game in the first half full of backwards passing after backwards passing, but we had 80% possession. We lacked no penetration whatsoever. We looked very predictable in terms of how we moved the ball, how we used the ball. And I think we all expected us to look kind of mid if we're continuing to use 4 centre-backs for every single game, even though we do have some full-backs that could give us more natural width out wide. I mean, my God, that first half was tepid, and it sums up all the negatives from our football this season. It sums up Pochettino's lack of ideas. I think to myself sometimes, this is like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing every single game, expecting a different result. I mean, the amount of backwards passing we encourage by having 2 wide centre-backs who can't really make those third-man runs. They can't play in both halves consistently. They can't cover grounds like that. And we don't even utilise their passing strengths. We release the ball to wide guys by themselves. Mikhailo Mudryk, my God, I thought this was a poor game. I guess we have to expect this though with Mudryk. Everton, he was decent. Sheffield United, he was terrible. He's going to be like that for the next 18 months minimum. He can't play consistently at his best because I don't know what his best is right now. Does it help him that he's left in 2v1 situations? I don't think so, because Mudryk is not an Eden Hazard winger. This system would work if we had world-class players, not good players with great potential, but world-class players. If you had Hazard in the space and moments that Mudryk has, my God, we'd be making a lot more sense as a team. But, Mudryk isn't Hazard. He plays in volume. That his dribbling success rate is going to be 40%, maybe 50% if he's having a good game. You can't rely upon him to be bringing that threat by himself down that left-hand side consistently. And I feel like you're kind of wasting his threats. He wants to drift inside. He wants to take shots. He wants to play closer to goal. And this is why he needs a more natural left-back. This is what he had at Shakhtar. This is what he has with the Ukrainian team. And we just refuse to give him that natural width. That would help him. At least give him the opportunities to have, 1v1 positions to attack his man, but he can roam inside a bit more. At least give him that, but we refuse to do that. And I guess when Mudryk is your main attacking outlet, and that's your game plan in the first half, don't expect much to come, right? Obviously, how did Petrovic do in his first home debut of the season? I think, listen, if you're now getting your first games 4 or 5 months into a season, I think you want to kickstart life by playing against an opposition like Sheffield United, where, listen, did he even have to make a save in this game today? Not really. Not much involvement at all. Nothing to really report on. But listen, if it helps him ease himself into life in the Premier League, so be it, because we're going to have to rely upon this guy now for the foreseeable future until, Sanchez comes back. So this is a massive opportunity for Petrovic now to show what he's been learning and to show that he's ready now to take the mantle and try and force Pochettino to reconsider his first choice goalkeeper this season. So listen, this is where Pochettino now will get credit for the second half performance, because I'm not a hater. I like to critique things objectively. If I see something bad, I will say it. And if I see something done correctly, I will say it even louder. And the decision of the game that helped us win this goddamn game, which we didn't look like we could do in the first half, was by allowing Raheem Sterling to not be stationed wide on the right-hand side. Pochettino encouraged Raheem Sterling to play closer to Nico Jackson. This meant that Raheem Sterling could penetrate Sheffield United more. He could find great positions between the lines. Time is running behind to encourage one of his teammates to play balls over the top, which he did time and time again. Having another man closer to Nico Jackson meant that Nico could then drop deeper at times to link up with his teammates. In the first half, he was stuck in the periphery of the whole game because his only outlet was running after balls in behind, and there was shit balls all throughout. And this is where we don't help the striker. And seeing that first half performance, it worries me, because it's like, okay, let's say you sign Osimhen. Don't think Osimhen in this first half performance, and I hope you guys remember how this first half went. You can't expect Osimhen comes in potentially and then makes us a team by making one run better. I mean, if you're getting shit service throughout, what do you expect? Let's keep it real. So, moving Raheem Sterling closer just saved us so much, because not only did it help us in terms of having more numbers in the final third, giving an outlet to Nico Jackson, but most importantly, it freed the right-hand side. Gone was that Sterling, Disasi, right winger death we were seeing in the first half. Finally, we could see Cole Palmer able to actually receive more. And, he was able to receive more because Pochettino encouraged Conor Gallagher to make those third-man runs out wide, to connect the field wider, to offer himself in those lateral spaces. And obviously we've seen Conor and Cole Palmer, they play decently together. They understand each other's games. When this guy moves infield, I run outside. If I run outside, you move infield. These relationships, they make a difference on the field. They make a difference on the field. And is it any surprise when we do anything this season, Cole Palmer's at the heart of things, He gets a goal, he gets an assist. For me, he was the star player today. And that all came from Pochettino making the right tweaks to get this team firing again. We started focusing our build-up on that right-hand side. I think Poch realised, why the hell am I forcing the play to Mudryk? Listen, if you're going to use Mudryk this dead, you have it coming, in my opinion. But freeing up that right-hand side, focusing our build-up and play down that side, really stretched Sheffield United even more. And it meant that with Raheem Sterling now being able to use his intelligence in terms of attacking and picking up spaces and positions, making those third man runs, that's drawing out the Sheffield United player, that's creating space. This is how we won the game in the second half, and this was the decisive action of the game. So it's great to see Cole Palmer get a goal today. I thought it was a superb cross from Raheem Sterling. In a zone where, listen, the spin, the backsman he put on that ball to get it around his first man, and Cole Palmer, instinctive finish, first time, that's what he has to do more of. That was great to see. And then obviously Palmer's moment for the assist moment for Nico Jackson. I mean, he kick-started that move. He was the one that, instead of taking the shot in that moment, which I was expecting him to do, listen, he had the composure to realise it makes more sense for me to play that ball to Raheem Sterling. And then he had the composure again when he realised, okay, there's a rebound opportunity. He didn't go to sleep. He was still awake. And Nico Jackson, credit to him too. He was alert on the far post, because I think a lot of times Jackson wants to always score from the far post. I think in the Premier League, listen, he's young. He'll get better. He'll improve. And he'll add more to his game. You can't expect that overnight, yeah? But it was nice to see the involvement of these two guys again, and Palmer and Jackson feeding off each other, getting us the win. That's now goal number 7. Or was that number 8 now for Nico Jackson? And I think for Cole Palmer, how much is that for Palmer now? I think that's goal number 6 or 5. And another assist for the season too. So normally when Sterling, Palmer and Jackson are in the game more things tend to happen for us. So I guess it will have to continue for now. Obviously, after that moment, we made it 2 goals consecutively. Sheffield United didn't have much to show for at all. And listen, I still think if we played against a better team, we'd be punished a lot more. Thank God this will work against the worst team in the league statistically, and probably in terms of quality as well too, in Sheffield United, who are, right in the depths of the Premier League table. But against a better opposition, especially with that first half showing we get showed up, I think we could concede. I think we look worse. And I think that, listen, 3 points is good, but we can't get too carried away with this win against a team that we should be beating regardless, because of the quality that just far eclipses anything that they have. Now, I guess, obviously, Pochettino, in terms of how he manages the squad, listen, we're going to have so many games coming. Like, before this month ends, it's like another 4 or 5 games, right? Could he have maybe rotated a bit more? I think he could have. I think the fact that only Broja, Enzo, and you're only bringing on Gustav and Maatsen with like 3 minutes left and extra time to play. I mean, could you not have used Matos in the game against flipping Sheffield United? You know what I mean? For that 15-20 minutes to give rest to important players you're going to need. I thought it was disappointing we didn't see Nkunku. I wonder what the reason for that was. For his post-match talk, I'm going to see what Pochettino has to say about that. But the fact that he didn't even get like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, with all the teasing, all the hype and all the build-up, I mean, come on. I feel like I'm lying to you guys by using Nkunku in these match preview thumbnails when he's just like nowhere close to coming on right now. And I don't know, I think against a team like Sheffield United, I think I'm going to play this Donny for like at least 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just to get his first feel of life in the Premier League. But it is what it is. But I don't know, I just felt like, the fact that Maatsen in a game like this is getting like 3 minutes left to play, I think it's just saying everything about how Pochettino feels about him, rightly or wrongly. And the fact that he's our only natural fullback that Pochettino is very unreliant towards wanting to use, doesn't, I think, expose the end of his Chelsea career, to be fair with you. And it's a shame, because I think Mudryk needs Maatsen, and I think Maatsen needs Mudryk. But I think Poch will just persist with using 4 centre-backs at all costs. And, again, I think the tactical switches made a lot more sense because we played against a weak Sheffield United team. They were getting more lethargic, they were getting more tired. Obviously, they couldn't cope with the tweak of Raheem Sterling, but against a better caliber of team, I think they stay in the game a lot more, and they offer a lot more when it comes to a counter-attack support against us. So, listen, as I'm really stressing, it's nice we won, but let's not get carried away. I think we still take things on a game-by-game basis, and let's hope when Nkunku is finally ready to come on, we see a bit more life to this team, because, win the game in 45 minutes, but that first half, my God, no ideas, no nothing, no imagination, no risk, no rewards. And it felt like in the second half, we risked it a bit more, even though I think using risk against Sheffield United, it feels like very strong language, in my opinion. But anyway, my friends, I guess that's it now. I think we move up to, is that 10th or 12th now with this win? I haven't checked the table right now, but I think that moves us up slightly, but we're still far off from doing anything in Europe. So I guess we wait and see. So share your thoughts and opinions, hit that like button. And of course, if you want to talk about this game, I'm going to be doing a post-match call-in show an hour after this review. So stay tuned if you want to take part, talk with me, and talk to this community. So my friends, I'm the EFC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.